Hello guys, today I'm going over how to factor quadratic equations. Like we can find solutions by factoring them, and let's look at the easiest or the best way to factor the quadratic equation. So the method I'm going to use is going to work the way, for example, let's say this is a quadratic equation here, trinomial, three terms, so it's a trinomial, and degree 2, that tells me have two solutions. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna multiply the coefficient of x square, which is 1 in our case, by this constant. So 1 multiplied by negative 14 gives me negative 14. So I'm gonna find two numbers. The numbers when I multiply them should give me negative 14, and when I add them, or let's say subtract them, gives me 5x. Okay, or we can say we want to break down this 5x into two numbers so that their product is negative 14, and when you add or subtract gives me 5x. So let's try. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna start with the 1 by 14 gives me 14, right? So 1 times 14, 14. If I use one of them is negative, then it will be negative 14. But when we add or subtract, we'll not get 5x. Let's try 2. 2 times 7 gives me 14. Yes, I think this will work. So look at this. So if I make this 7 positive and 2 negative, so that gives me 7 minus 2x gives me positive 5x, and when I multiply 7 with the negative 2 gives me negative 14. So let's write that down. Let's see how that'll look like. So x square, so we're breaking this 5x into 7x and negative 2x, negative 14 is equal to 0. So look at this. So this gives me 5x, and 7 with a negative 2 gives me negative 14. So next step is, what we're gonna do, we're gonna break into two parts. So this is one part, this is the other part. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take out x out from these two numbers here. So if I take x out, I'm gonna put parentheses. So what I left with, if I took x out from x square, I left with one more x here. If I take x out common from here, so I left with the 7. So plus sign, plus 7. Same thing I'm gonna do with this. What do you think? I think we can take 2 common out. I'm gonna put parentheses. If I took a negative 2 out, let's say, so I left with x. And here, as I took negative out, I left with positive. I took a 2 out, so I left with 7. An interesting thing, this parenthesis will be similar to this one. So they both will be same. So next step is, so again, two terms, one over here, the other over here. So what you see, both have x plus 7 common. So if I take x plus 7 common out from these two, what should I leave over here? Or what should I left with over here? So x into x plus 7, I took x plus 7 common out, so I left with the x. And I take x plus 7 out from here, so I left with a negative 2. See? So these are the factors of this quadratic equation. So if I want to find the solution, so what we can do is, we can do like, so this is basically product of two number is equal to 0. That means either this number is equal to 0 or this number is equal to 0. So let's say x plus 7 is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So this gives me, if I solve it, this gives me x is equal to negative 7, and this gives me x is equal to 2. So those are the two possible solutions to our quadratic equation. See, so we learn how to factor, we learn how to find the solutions. Let's do one more example. I'm gonna do one more example over here, just separating them here. So let's do the same thing. So in this case, again, the rule is multiply this constant with the coefficient of x square. So in this case, we have 2 and this is 6. When we multiply, we get 12. So we need two numbers so that when we multiply them, I get 12, and when we add or subtract them, we should get 7. So, or we want to break down 7x into two numbers so that when you add or subtract gives you 7x, or when you multiply them should gives you 12. Let's start with 1. So 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. I don't think that'll work. Because 2 plus 6 is 8, or if you take 2 out of 6 gives me 4x. So not quite there. Let's try 3. 3 times 4 is 12. This will work. See, if you add 3 and 4 gives you 7x. When you multiply 3 by 4 gives you 12. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break down 7x into 4x plus 3x, and this 6 will be there, is equal to 0. Now again we're gonna break into two different parts over here. So what we're gonna do, see, x is common in both of them, and again these two are even, so we can take 2 out. That gives me, let's say I'm going to take 2x out from these two terms. So here I'm left with x. See, 2x multiplied by x gives you x squared. So same thing here, you take out x, you take out 2, you're left with only 2. So 2x times 2 gives you 4x. So, because all are positive, I'm going to just put positive. And the easy thing, you see, both parentheses are same. So what we're going to do, x plus 2, I'm going to write x plus 2 over here. So out of those two numbers, so this first one is 3x, this is x, so multiply by 3. So 3 times x gives you 3x, 3 times 2 gives you 6. It's equal to 0. Now again, two different parts over here, and what you see common in both of them, I see x plus 2. So if I take x plus 2 out common, and this part I left with 2x, and here I took x plus 2 out and left with positive 3. So these are the factors to this quadratic equation. And again, if we want to find the solution, so basically product of two numbers is equal to 0. That tells me either this number is equal to 0 or the other number, because one of them is going to be 0, then their product is 0. So let's say x plus 2 is equal to 0, or you can say 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So if I solve this, gives me x is equal to negative 2. So this is one possible solution, and here this gives me 2x is equal to negative 3, and therefore x is equal to negative 3 over 2. Divide both sides by 2. And it's basic algebra, I think you guys know it. If not, I'm gonna make another video about it. So very neat method to factor quadratic equation. You can factor any quadratic using this method. If not, I don't know, you can find another better way, but to me this looks like very easy method. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Like my page. Any question, leave a comment. I'll answer your question. Thank you. Have a good day.